Anybody else feel like the world is going through like a collective dark night of the soul, right? Like, as a collective, we're just in it. We're in it. We are being shown so many different reflective pieces, some that we resonate with, some that we don't, some that we get really pissed off at, some that we are secretly excited for. You know, there's so much going on in the world of energy, I think, right now. Shadow work, you know, at its thickest by that label, and this time of year is always weird for me. 9/11 is attached heavily to my journey in the military, and man, at that moment when I joined, I was clueless. Like, I was so baby, you know, like, had no idea, and didn't know what was coming, didn't know what I was looking into, but it was the greatest, I think, choice for me to be able to see a different perspective. What it did for me was, there was a moment, I worked on the flight line, and there was a moment where we were putting a live munition on a jet, right? Fighter jet. Things were happening. So we were putting it on there, and I stopped, and I had to really, like, almost center myself, because, you know, bitch can't be looking weak out on the flight line, because I'm one of, like, 5 of the only girls out there, right? And so I'm sitting out there, and I'm thinking, shit, this, like, I know what this munition does, and it may not be on this jet when it comes back, you know, and my fingerprints are on it, and I don't know how I feel about that. Up until that point, clueless, didn't even understand that that was an option of a thought process on the table. It was like shadow work smacked me in the head when all I was doing was eat, sleep, cussing a lot and drinking a lot, right? Like, and like, hit me, and I'm like, what the hell? Wow. I just want to offer this perspective. I think that's my point of this, is where the world is right now, right? We all have strong feelings. Not all. Some of us have very strong feelings. Some of us are choosing avoidance. Some of us are choosing, you know, detachment. And I do think that those two are different. But we're all choosing in some way. Even if we're not choosing, we're choosing, you know. It feels to me like a mirror is being held up, you know, to all of us, and we are having to sit back and say, damn, how do I feel, right? Let me tell you my internal thoughts and where it goes, right? I start with, like, the political climate and the pieces that are sitting there, and then I move to my time in the military, and I move to people like Bin Laden and Hitler and hell, anybody else that was on the other side wearing a different uniform, right? My mind goes there, and I have to stop, and I have to sit with myself, and I have to say, well, shit, where's the line? Who has the checklist of when it's celebrated and when it's not? And then that broadens the question, right? My question goes, damn, should we even be celebrating? Is any time a celebration? Well, shit, I don't know. Refer back to you know, my time in uniform. That's a hard one for me, at least. You know, that's one that goes, well, I'm not sure I land anywhere solid. I land in some spaces, and I land in situation, but then who controls the situation checklist? Who, like, what does that look like for me? Where are my lines? Where are my boundaries? Where are my containers? Where is that divine masculine holding me into a divine flow, right? Like, what does that look like? That moves me into the death penalty. Well, I mean, moves me into a space of going, damn, where's that checklist? Oh, but we have the judicial system. But do we? Is that the container that should be there is that for the wholest good, how do I feel about it, right? Fuck everybody else. How do I feel? Where do I land? Because I can't control anybody else. All I can do is work within me and stabilize myself. I am my own safe place, right? And all the activists, listen, I'm not discrediting anything that's happening there, right? Catalyst for change is sometimes setting shit on fire, so you have that layer as well. I moved from death penalty because I can't land anywhere. I don't know how I feel about that. And I go to meat, like hamburgers and, well, hell, even you go to the plants, right? An exchange of energy always required? Feelings can be so valid, and we can have big, intense feelings, but at the same time, they can be irrelevant as hell. Our feelings in that moment, we feel them, and they're real, and we are experiencing them, and there is justifications and reasons why we're experiencing them. But just because those are our feelings doesn't mean that it carries through the collective, right? I think for me, when that moment, that energy is palatable, it is there, it is electric in our atmosphere, I think I have to stop and I have to say, okay, this is when we choose co-creation. This is when we choose how we navigate this. Who are we? What do we believe, right? We sit with our anger and we sit with our rage and we find the wounds within ourselves and we go, okay, what does this need from me, right? I'm not saying all this like trying to pretend like, the answers are like right at us, right? Because I think it's a hybrid conversation that most of us have yet to start having. What do I want to say? I think I just want to remind anybody that this ripples to, that there's other ways. I don't know what they are. But I know it with all my knowing that we have choice and that we can choose what to do with this moment. And I'm not even saying there's a right and there's a wrong, because I think it's a more elevated view than right and wrong, right? But it starts with us slowing it down and in my world we would say slowing it down and doing the shadow work that all of these things are triggering. Not trying to control and judge and decide for others. It's about creating a safe homeostasis within our own field. I get it. For some of you that sounds like woo-woo as hell, right? For me, I'm sitting here going, come on now. But it feels like it starts there. And I think that space is vulnerable and it's unfamiliar and feels prickly to me too, but we've tried other ways. At some point, when are we going to start having different conversations?